welcome. Mike Labella from M-Lab Golf. I'm here with Casey Barbie at Denton Country Club, and today we're going to go over the baseline wedge shot. So Casey, what we're going to talk about is a couple different grip styles we have. My grip style is on the opposite side of the spectrum of your grip style.
Right.
We're going to talk about how that works with our baseline wedge shot. We're just going to keep it simple and give you something that you can take away and get a little bit better around the greens. So Casey, let's talk about your grip style first.
Yeah, so I'm more of a cover on top grip golfer. So the right hand is, for me, a right-handed golfer. My right hand is more on top of the grip as opposed to from the side or under, so more on top there.
And some players we'll see on TV will say like Rory McIlroy's a little bit more on top.
Right.
Who else do we have out there?
You got like a Sergio Garcia.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Kuchar's a little bit more on top.
Now I'm on the opposite side of the spectrum, so I'm more under. So that means that my trail hand's going to be a little bit more on the what we would used to call the stronger side.
Yep.
So that trail hand's will be a little bit more under, where yours is going to be a little bit more on top.
Right.
But the baseline model allows us to move efficiently with both those types of grips, but we have to understand how the hand's going to release, which is going to be different. So let's have you step in here first.
Okay.
That hand, make sure it's a little bit more on top. So that V of the hand's going to point a little bit more towards your chin or a little bit left of that chin.
There we go.
Now, setup-wise, I like to start out very neutral with how the club, hands, and body is aligned. So let's go ahead, step those feet in about 2-3 club heads apart. So get a little bit wider there. Weight, we'll start about 55-60% forward. Now, ball position, I like to see ball and hands in alignment. Then we're going to go belt buckle, sternum, and nose. So those hands are a little bit forward of the club head since the club head sits behind the ball, but I like that alignment there. Ball, hands, belt buckle, sternum, nose. Now our pattern, we're going to keep this simple. What I want you to feel is just a little bit of bend in this elbow to start the motion. So we're going to break this up at first. We're going to a little bit of bend. Then from there, you're going to rotate your chest back, and we'll pivot on the way through. And our goal here is once we get that bend in the elbow, we're going to try to maintain that bend throughout the stroke. So we're then able to say, hey, let's use our torso to swing through. We don't want to throw the arms at it. We want to feel a little bit more body versus arms here. So that little...
No extending of that,
that
right arm.
That's where everyone starts to chunk it and skull it,
Right.
and then that's where the yips come in.
Yeah.
We won't get too far into detail of why that happens today. We'll maybe get on a different segment with that, but it's just, hey, can we get a little bit of bend? Can we get the torso activated back and through? So let's go ahead, show us that again.
So
One more
neutral, right hand on top, a little practice.
Mm-hmm.
A little weight favor the left side. In line, we're going to have a little bend in the arm. Turn, turn.
And perfect. When you finish right there with that model with a proper release, we'll notice that the hand is going to be pointing more out this way. The club face is a little bit more toe up.
Right.
So when you come back down, go ahead and let go of that left hand real quick. When this hand comes through, we'll be on top the whole way on the way through, so we'll see that hand staying there. So one thing at setup we have to do to make sure that we do not drive that leading edge into the ground is we're actually going to start with the toe of the club pointing at 12:05. So that's 12 o'clock, 12:05. Just to engage the bounce so that leading edge doesn't get stuck in the ground. All right, give us one more practice swing, then a shot. There we go.
All right. Hand on top, 12:05.
That's pretty good.
Not bad. Pretty tight lie here, a little bit wet, good turf interaction overall, so pretty solid there. Definitely no dig with that leading edge coming through impact.
And I'm going to be the opposite. So if I step in here,
Yep.
Same motion, same pattern with the body, but the hand's different. With my hand being in more of this underneath position, I'm going to be finishing more with a little bit of cup in my left wrist, and my hand's going to be a little bit more under it. Versus your hand being here, you're this way.
Right.
So your torque or your rotation of the hands in this direction, where mine is actually going to be more of a tossing action underneath like this. So we got to make sure that we set up the right way for that. Versus if I was to do this and make the same motion with my hand, I might skull it
Right.
or drive the club too far into the ground or miss left because I'm trying to get to that on top position. So I'm going to go ahead and hit this with that same little pattern. I'm going to go bend, turn, turn. I'm going to make sure my release is more underneath.
And is there any difference at setup, are we going 1205 with your club face as well, or are we changing?
Great
changing
question. I don't go to 1205 because
Yeah.
I have this under release that maintains the face orientation a different way.
Right.
Versus you're on top, so we have to have that engagement, because if your hand starts to release down like this, you're going to drive the leading edge into the ground.
Yeah.
That's why we have to just kind of set that a little bit more open, so when we release it, it's more consistent.
Perfect. So if we would set that face a little bit more open with your release, we'd see the face really open.
It'd be open, you know, I might have to do more action with the hands to
Yeah.
get that back online, but we want to keep this as simple as possible
Yep.
in our baseline. And then we can make adjustments later on and say, hey, I want to flight this higher. I want to see a little bit different spin action, so we can make those adjustments when we need to.
Perfect.
So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to step in here, get my grip being the under grip,
Okay.
my release being more under and more palm to the sky versus yours being more towards the fairway back behind us here. So I'm going to get set, same thing, a little bend, turn, turn.
Nice. Nice.
There we go, and you can see
So
my
if you hold
palm.
that finish there,
Yeah.
the palm is up.
Hit that a little strong, but very, very solid off this tight lie. I felt
Yep.
like the club just skidded right through there.
Perfect. I like it. Super simple. Again, knowing the grip type makes the massive difference here. Instead of trying to alter the grip to the shot, it makes it easier for you to have a natural motion. And again, allowing the right arm not to have too much movement, just a nice soft bend, and really engaging the pivot to help hit the shot,
Yes.
right?
So, hey, if you guys have questions, go ahead. Feel free to reach out to us. Casey Barbie at Denton Country Club, Mike LaBelle with MLab Golf. I hope this gave you some great insight on how grip affects your release style in a simple wedge shot. This is going to allow you to get better club and turf interaction. So go ahead, click like and subscribe. We hope to hear from you guys soon.